6,000 plus strong. Georgia's hard to beat in here. They've lost exactly once in the last 4 seasons. That was in double overtime to South Carolina a couple years ago. It takes a lot to win as a visitor. And this is the first true road test for this Arkansas team. Yeah, they're experienced. They got a bunch of veterans, but they haven't been in an environment like this yet this season. Kirby Smart and the Dogs, sizable favorites, eager to reconfirm that they are among the elites again in college football. Beautiful place to be on a Saturday, Dooley Field at Sanford Stadium. And here come the Bulldogs. Glad you're with us for this high noon top 10 collision in the Southeastern Conference. ESPN College Football presented by Marathon in this presentation of the SEC on ESPN. Razorbacks unranked have rocketed into the top 10. Georgia sitting there at number 2 behind only Alabama. And welcome. I'm Chris Fowler. Kirk Herbstreit making his way to the booth. Quarterback health, a major plot line here. Both regular starting quarterbacks dealing with pain management. And it looks like for Georgia, JT Daniels is not going to be able to go. Dealing with an injury to his right lat muscle. Throwing is painful. Didn't take any reps in Thursday's practice. And about an hour before the game, you can see the grimace as he tried to throw. But it looks like it's going to be Stetson Bennett IV. Number 13, the former walk-on who came back to Georgia as a scholarship player, getting the nod today. Bennett has experience. He's confident. Came off the bench last year against Arkansas and lit up the Razorbacks in the second half. It's a different defense today. You can see they lose a little bit in passing accuracy and decision-making, but Bennett is a better runner than Daniels. They need help in that running game. Meanwhile, for Arkansas, KJ Jefferson is essential to their chances of a road victory. Quarterback is the second leading rusher on the team. He's been dealing with a PCL strain and a left bruise. So he looks like he's good to go, bouncing around, a tough guy, and we'll keep an eye on number 1. All right, Holly Rowe down there ringside for this collision, and she's with Kirby Smart.
Coach Smart, tell me what's going to happen at quarterback for your team today and how it impacts your offense.
Well, Stetson Bennett's going to go for us. He's played some other games. JT's got a lat issue that's bothering him, so looking forward to see Stetson go play. He's got to cut it loose and go.
What changes with your offense with him? What can he do to help you?
Well, he's got a little more mobility, and we're hoping he can use that. And we got to get JT healthy.
Thanks, Coach.
Good dogs.
Yeah, you can't get healthy with that injury unless you're rested. And the hope is that a couple of weeks, Daniels will be ready to go. But for now, Kirk Herbstreit, it is the Stetson Fleming Bennett IV show. And I know you like this quarterback. You like his moxie and his skill set.
I do. I think moxie's a great word for him, and he's got some experience. I mean, he's played not only against Arkansas last year, but also, you're talking about a quarterback that has played against Alabama when they went to Tuscaloosa last year. So I don't think he's going to be intimidated by what he sees. In fact, he plays with a bit of a chip on his shoulder. And I think the thing you get is mobility. If Arkansas gets pressure, he has an ability to create, get away from pressure, and look downfield. The one thing he's got to be careful of, Chris, is just trying to make a play when it's not there. He's such a competitor.
Good hustle getting up here, by the way. You still got the dual threat quarterback quick, so I appreciate it.
You got it.
Arkansas won the toss. They deferred, so you're going to see Bennett and that Dogs offense right away. Kickoff man for the Hogs is Vito Calvaruso, and he typically creates touchbacks, and this one is boom, way out of the back of the end zone, landed in the hedges. So here comes Bennett. Plenty of confidence as a thrower, maybe not quite as dynamic as Daniels. You said he has a tendency to press and throw the ball to the other team, and it'll be interesting to see how they call this game earlier. Todd Monken, a very aggressive play caller by nature.
Absolutely, and I don't think he changes. He's not going to change his approach with Bennett in there. I think, again, the experience is big. He can make every throw. Actually has a stronger arm than JT Daniels, so it's the same game plan. They've got to run the ball against a very complex defense to be able to set up their play-action game today.
He's actually played more in the last 3 games than Daniels has. It's a keeper for Bennett. Needs a block on the edge, gets one, and gets 9 on first down. So right away they set the tone. You got to fear the quarterback run with this guy in there.
Yeah, that's what we were just saying, is the mobility all of a sudden is a different aspect of what Arkansas is going to have to defend. Now, Arkansas plays this 3-3-5. They're trying to keep all of the big plays in front of them, and they have 8 guys with their eyes on the ball, linebackers, safeties, and corners that are looking to chase down plays in front, running game and short pass game.
It's a stout Arkansas defense. Top 12 in yards allowed. They're number 8 against pass. And Bennett's looking to zip it high in the slot. Ladd McConkey makes the catch, and in 2 plays, the Dogs are at midfield.
Yeah, it looks like McConkey took a big hit there from the safety. Good read by Stetson Bennett on a run-pass option. Linebackers for Arkansas attack downhill, and that's what they do. Watch the linebackers. They get up close, so he goes right behind them and finds the tight windows that he'll have to throw in today between the backers and the safeties.
McConkey, a slightly built freshman, goes 185. They're very thin at receiver. They really can't afford to have him out. I'm checking him out in the sidelines.
Yeah, not a lot of depth. That's the one spot they've been really hit with injuries.
White bursts up the middle, and they test the middle of that Hogs defense and rip off another first down. They're inside the 40.
They are controlling the line of scrimmage. The big thing is you want to try to keep Arkansas balanced with your play calling, especially on an opening drive. Give them different formations and personnel groupings, and then let this offensive line get off of the ball and try to impose their will against this Arkansas defense, by the way, that's been really tough to run the football on.
Nobody's scored in the first quarter against the Hogs so far this season. Dogs instantly threatening. White draws a crowd as he gets a yard around left end. Grant Morgan, the tackling machine linebacker, was there.
I think what we've seen early in this year is Arkansas just flying to the football. Defensive linemen eat up all the linemen, and look at all the white jerseys getting to the ball. That's the thing about this defense. You have linebackers, and then you have these extra safeties that allow you to use more speed and just fly to the football to be able to chase down those ball carriers.
Definitely fast. Can this defensive scheme hold up if the Dogs try to pound the rock up the middle? There's a second down throw, battle on the edge, and a flag comes in. And defending over there was Monteric Brown on Eddie Mitchell.
It looked like to me he got his right hand on the shoulder pad to try to keep Mitchell away from the ball. I mean, he's locked up one-on-one against a true freshman. He's got both his hands. In fact, then at the end, the right hand grabs the jersey. I mean, he was all over him on the entire route.
Mitchell, a long 6'4" freshman out of Texas.
Pass interference. Defense, number 21. Ball be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Mitchell's a big play weapon, averaging almost 18 yards a catch.
Yeah, and with Pickens down, Chris, how big of a factor does he take on with that length, similar to a George Pickens? Of course, you have Burton also, who's a great vertical threat. But the guy you and I think everybody's been marveling at with Georgia has been Brock Bowers, the tight end, who's we'll see today, 19, a true freshman out of Napa Valley, California.
Incredibly precocious start to his career here in Athens. He got a couple tight ends in the ball game. Then he gets to that quickly, and it's dropped. Justin Robinson put his eyes upfield, didn't collect the football.
That's just a young player, still trying to feel his way. In fact, Todd Monken, when we were going over all his different positions and different players, he was talking about Robinson and just kind of settling in. He's got great size, great potential. He just needs to be consistent catching the ball, and that was an example of that right there.
They'll rotate backs, and Zamir White, senior out of Miami, younger brother of Dalvin, takes the ball, gets the block on the edge. He's quick. You can see the acceleration. The running game is going, and they got another first down. Burton, a good block on the edge.
And Sawyer, 69, gets up to 27. He didn't make a block. He just walled him off with his body. body, 325 pounds, and got him to the edge. And when these backs get to the edge, boy, it gives this defense so much more they're going to have to deal with. Arkansas's got to do a good job of setting the edge and forcing these backs back to the inside.
Dogs have not been super efficient in the red zone so far this season. There's White with a first down run. 19 trips in there, Kirk. Only 11 touchdowns. They've missed a couple of short field goals. That's something they want to improve. But that running game's still a work in progress from the backs.
Yeah, and I also think with JT Daniels in there, you lose the mobility. So you're really relying on the precision passing of Daniels or the running game. And I think now with Stetson Bennett, you have a little bit more of a factor of the defense having to respect what he can do with his legs on the perimeter. Even
Daniels a pretty chill guy, Kirk, but it's got to be killing him not to be able to go in this game.
Yeah.
Frustrating series of injuries so far this season. Cook motions out, empty backfield. 2nd and 7. Bennett from the pocket, rifle short, catch made. McConkey, good to see him back in there, takes another shot, and he's knocked out of bounds by Joe Fouché. 3rd down coming up.
This is where Bennett just shows you the experience. He's got a huge cushion over here. He's just going to pick his spot. Empty backfield means the ball needs to come out quickly. He loads up on McConkey because he's got such a soft cushion matched up there against Fouché. He just takes the easy throw and puts him close to a first down. I thought he actually picked it up. Looks like he's a little short.
So 3rd and 1. Bowers lined up to the right of the formation. White through traffic into the end zone. Opening statement drive by Georgia. Right down the field to draw first blood. Impressive, Kirk.
Yeah, what a drive by Todd Monken. Watch the left side of the offensive line. The tight end, Fitzpatrick. The tackle, 69, Sawyer gets up to the backer. Just perfect execution. Georgia's got to be very excited for how this drive, 9 plays, 75 yards, opening drive to get this game started.
Again, just did what no opponent has done to Arkansas. Scored in the first quarter. 353rd consecutive PAT made by Georgia kickers. How about this? Bennett comes in at quarterback. This is the kind of running game Dogs fans have been waiting to see. Arkansas's first possession coming up.
ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the Southeastern Conference.
So Arkansas defers. Georgia marches right down the field. In 75 yards, they are up 7-0.
This is during our break. I'd love to see this. Stetson Bennett not only leads them down to a touchdown, the opening drive, he goes right over to Justin Robinson, who had that drop, and just says, hey, man, check it off. We're good. This is early in the game. We're going to go right back to you. Shows his leadership.
Jake Kamara, All-American punter, also handles the kickoff duties. This is A.J. Green. No relation to the former Bulldog receiver of the same name. And coverage is good, and they stop it short of the 20. And here comes K.J. Jefferson. All eyes on his mobility, Kirk, because he's been dealing with a pain management issue this week as well.
He's got that bruised knee, and 245. I really think he's up to date. Weight is 255. He's got to be involved in the run game to be able to get this skill going. Play action pass. He's one of the best in yards per completion because they make big plays in their passing game, and it's because teams have to respect him running and these running backs finding creases to run the football.
First play, Traylon Burks, their fine receivers in the backfield to the right of Jefferson. Two-back look. They're right in front of the student section. This place is juiced up.
Ball start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. First down.
They have not experienced this. It was a rowdy environment at AT&T Stadium, but they had half the place with their fans when they beat A&M. This is totally new for them.
First time this offense has had to deal with it. Sam Pittman, he coached here. He said all week that he knew what they were going into. Got to weather the storm early. Giving up a touchdown, a false start on the first play. This is not the start he had hoped for.
And another false start. Oh, my goodness. You couldn't draw it up any worse for the Razorbacks on the road here.
No, that's Brady Latham, the left guard. I thought I read his lips like saying timeout. Maybe they were going to regroup.
What was their technique for dealing with all this crowd noise? Did they practice all week?
They practice. They deal with the clap like most people do. But man, you're in the loudest part of this stadium right now. And when you make a couple of mistakes like that, you just lit a fuse.
You just let the students know that they're in charge down there. Well, they get the snap off. Traylon Smith is their top back, and he's able to get back 3, but it's 2nd and 17, way behind the 6 against this defense.
Yeah, and it's hard enough on 1st and 10, let alone 2 false starts to get you 1st and 20. This defense is as good as you'll see in the country. Defensive line are grown men. The linebackers play with a great deal of passion and love for one another. And this is the one question. The safeties are rock solid, but Speed and Kendrick on the edge, that's the one spot Georgia still has to grow up.
Yeah, first one pressured and slammed down. Devontae Wyatt, part of that nasty defensive front.
He's right in the middle, and there's so many different weapons. He works right through 55 with power. Bo Limmer just cannot contain him and keep him out. Nolan Smith, 4, also working around the edge. You get into predictable play calling. It's tough on any offense, but Sam Pittman's offense, they're just not built for that.
The goal here is to avoid a safety, frankly. 3rd and 24. Jefferson on the slant, threw it into heavy traffic, and it is broken up by Quay Walker. That's as bad as it gets for an offensive line on the road in the first series.
I just want to lay out and just let's just take this in. I mean, this is an intimidating atmosphere for a noon kick. Again, predictable play calling. Kendall Briles is the offensive play caller. You can only do so much. Those backers are dialed in. Quay Walker with his eyes up and a great spot to knock that ball away.
And again, Pittman, who was the offensive line coach here for 4 years. That's his pride and joy. You got to get his guys settled down quickly. And he's got to hope that Reed Bauer, who's the guy who kicks the ball high, not terribly far, Georgia's going to be
there is
set
no
up,
foul in the play.
Position.
4th down.
Barring something weird.
Kendall Briles just wants to try to settle that offense down.
Here is Jackson, who's back with an increased role at receiver, finally getting healthy. He's a very dangerous punt returner. Dogs come after it. Bauer does get a high punt away. Jackson's got some space. Receives it in Razorback territory. A flag comes in as he's tackled at the 41. So that'll spoil some of the field position.
Like a push in the back or a hold call that'll go against Georgia and push them back.
Check out today's Keys to Victory, brought to you by the Barbecue Guys, right after the call from Jason Autry.
During the return, illegal block in the back, return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down.
Chrissy, keys for Arkansas. We better update these right now. Right now, it's handle the adversity, handle the energy of coming into play on the road. But KJ Jefferson has got to be a difference maker. He's got to get involved on running and then making plays in the passing game. Defense, take away the plays downfield, rally the football in front of you. Georgia, I would say patience is a virtue. That opening drive was very similar to.
How about those first 2 for Georgia? Exactly what
we talked about. They just pretty much check those boxes in the first couple drives.
So again, Stetson Bennett, if you joined us late, he's got the call today with JT Daniels unable to go with that lat injury on his right side. And the Dogs just used a powerful running game to march to an early score. Now they take over at their 44.
Big fella, Darnell Washington. He hadn't been played all year. Good to see him back in the lineup right here.
Massive sophomore tight end from Vegas. They run to the right side. That's James Cook into Arkansas territory. Morgan stopped him.
Well, Arkansas right now, the adjustment that Barry Odom needs to make, there's Washington, great to see him back, is they've got to commit these safeties. They've got to get numbers up. They've got to shoot gaps right now with this defense. You cannot afford to give up 6 and 7 yards on 1st and 10 especially. They need to get Stetson Bennett 2nd and 9 and 3rd and 7. Right now they're losing the battle in the trenches.
Kendall Milton and Kenny McIntosh, 2 more backs in this table in the game. And this is McIntosh He's a versatile back. We'll probably see him catch a couple out of the backfield. That time rolls for a first down inside the 45.
It's just right now, I think Georgia was confident with all the talk about Arkansas and what they're doing. They felt that their offensive line could just lean on this defense, that front of those three front defensive linemen, and get up, climb up to the linebackers. And so far, that has most definitely played out here early in this game.
Matt Luke, the former head coach at Ole Miss, took over for Pittman. He coaches the offensive line here. And off inside of Milton. They're just keeping these packs fresh. Here comes the rotation early.
And it's just a surge. You know, your line's doing a good job. The tight ends are rotating in. We've seen Bowers. We've seen Washington. John Fitzpatrick, 86, with a great block there on the edge. And again, look at the yardage on 1st and 10. And that's going to open up eventually. You're going to get these safeties that are starting to think about defending the run. You're going to get some one-on-one shots, early down play action. Take some shots downfield eventually when you're running the ball like that.
Right now, though, the running game is working. Georgia fans see this. Just stick with this. Old school. Cook makes a cut, but draws a crowd and is tackled for a 2-yard gain. Markel Utsi, one of the 2 transfers from Missouri who came over here to follow Odom, along with Trey Williams, their edge pass rusher. Hayden Henry, part of the Henry clan at Arkansas, also in on the tackle. So it's 3rd and 2. Dogs, one of the best in the country on 3rd down. They have a lot of 3rd and shorts like this, but 54%. It's in large part because Daniels has been incredibly accurate on 3rd down. And they swarm. White this time. No gain. Henry again penetrating along with Jalen Cattle on the safety. So a decision now. 4th and 2 for Kirby.
Oh, that was a good call by Barry Odom. A twist up front by Utsi confused the offensive line and forced him to bounce that. And once he went to the outside, that's the speed of the Arkansas defense.
Now you got a defense that's been on roller skates so far. A chance to perhaps make a stop and change momentum in this game.
Huge opportunity for the Arkansas defense.
About 1.5 yards. White is the back. Burton in motion. And they run it straight ahead. Broken tackle. White gets the first down. They had a chance to grab him in the backfield. Catalan couldn't do it. And you hear the Zeus serenade for the running back.
Yeah, Catalan did have a chance working right here. That was the guy they were trying to get free. Actually, the 2nd level. Catalan was at 2nd level, was able to get down inside there. Just an arm tackle. Looked like his mouthpiece or something popped out during this play, but he picks up the first down.
It's hard to get White down with an arm tackle. He's a guy that has 0 yards lost rushing this year. Has not been stopped behind the line of scrimmage yet. McIntosh is now the back. Clean pocket for Bennett. Lofts it downfield for the running back, who makes the catch and is knocked out inside the 5. That's the skill set of the junior from Fort Lauderdale.
They clear out with Mitchell to try to open up the wheel. See Mitchell right there, 5. He's taking the corner with him. And then they knew they had the back slipping out of the backfield. Great execution.
What a throw. You just dropped it in the bucket, as they say. McIntosh carries the football for about 1 yard, and a flag is down.
They go tempo, and I think they caught him trying to substitute Arkansas with 12 men on the field.
It's tough, though, Kirk. You get a play, you want to get your goal line guys in there.
Yeah.
No chance.
Yeah. Yep. Too many men on the field.
We'll move it a little bit closer. Well, they couldn't make that tackle on that 4th and 1 play, and you somehow knew that was trouble.
Illegal substitution. Defense. 12 players on the field at the snap. The penalty is half to the 6 goal. First down.
Pittman's team in danger, going down 2 scores midway 1st quarter here.
Todd Monken knew exactly what he wanted to do by trying to clear that out down the sideline and then slide his back. Knew that he would be able to get right behind Henry. See that? Perfect design. And how about the throw by Stetson Bennett?
Milton is the back. Didn't play last week because of his shoulder problem. Good to go this week. And he'll be stopped short of the goal line. Ridgeway, one of those transfers, the former Illinois State Redbird, clogging the middle. 2nd down.
And you touch on Ridgeway. That's what. Oh, they're bringing a big fella in.
Comes Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
Nose tackle often plays fullback in these goal line situations.
That's a lot of weight coming in to lead a back through a hole. I've just talked about Ridgeway and Utsi and Trey Williams, such a different group from Arkansas now with the transfer portal.
Look who else they got in there. Jordan Davis, 99. They got 2 nose tackles.
Yeah.
2 of them in the game.
And Sam Pittman saw that. He said,
wait a minute.
All right, no way, Kirby.
We got 7 300-pounders in the game. We better talk about this. Dogs threatening to build in a 7-point lead.
ESPN College Football is presented by Marathon, driven forward.
All quiet on the Georgia campus, very noisy inside Sanford Stadium. AT&T 5G Skycam. Check out the Skycast, brought to you by AT&T 5G and ESPN3 on the app. So the Dogs, with that power lineup in there, they had about, 700 pounds of nose tackle between 88 and 99, and 6 offensive linemen before the timeout anyway.
Like there's Jordan Davis. He's out there. Your tight ends out there.
Get a backup guard, Owen Condon, switching numbers to be out there. Second and goal, I formation, Milton, and he just follows. Oh, they lost the ball. And he's in the end zone for a Georgia touchdown. All that beef. Not much Arkansas could do about it.
No, they run to the left side. The big fella's on the right. This opens up over on the left, but just for fun, let's keep an eye on what Jordan Davis does. Just to remind you what he can do. He just leans on people, but a great push on that left side to open that up. And Jalen Carter was in there and helped out the defensive nose guard.
They're ripping at the ball. Milton was able to hold on to it. And Georgia, 2 touchdown drives behind a powerful running game, sprinkled in with the occasional pass, but they have been pure power in the first quarter with Bennett at quarterback. One of the 6 SEC games today. Thank you. Dogs in control here. Hogs have run 3 plays and they're down 14 points, and that even muffed the fair catch in the kickoff. And good Lord,
yeah.
Going to be backed up again.
Chris, let's go back to this. I was so caught up with Jordan. Let's see what Jalen Carter does. Watch this block on this touchdown. 1, 2, a third.
That's a domino effect.
Right. That's a nose guard coming in to help out, and just, oh my gosh, what a block.
He's big, but he's also so quick that he accelerates fast.
That was Jaden Johnson, a true freshman, that took that initial hit, number 8.
What's tough is something so simple as catching a kickoff. It ends up costing you about 18 yards in field position. Jefferson backed up again in front of that student section. This is Smith around the right side, and that's a win for them. Holly, let's get down to you in that noisy part of the stadium.
Well, guys, I wanted to put it in perspective how noisy it actually is down here. We were at Penn State for a night whiteout with 109,000 a couple weeks ago. It was 105. Today in this end zone is 110 decibels, almost as loud as the New York subway.
Wow. Jefferson trying to escape the pressure and the noise, and he finds Morris, who catches the ball underneath and then takes a shot from Trayvon Walker. Third down coming up.
Another talented defensive lineman that, because of his athletic ability, they'll drop him out.
There's a flag.
That's lineman downfield.
Yeah, penalties have been a problem for Arkansas.
Eligible receiver downfield, offense, number 51. Penalties half the distance to the goal. Repeat.
Another mistake for this offensive line, and they are really backed up now. Not much Kendall Briles can do.
Sometimes with run-pass option, you get linemen that get downfield. You see the right side. Center that time Stromberg working downfield, thinking it's a run, and KJ Jefferson pulls it because of the defensive read that he had.
Can't draw it up for the Hogs in the early going. Behind the 6 again, with the students roaring in their eardrums.
Got 3 receivers off to his left and a cushion against 2 defensive backs. He'll probably try to work that way.
Jefferson gets the ball out quickly, which is smart before that pass rush gets there. And there's Burks
their playmaker, but Dog, plenty of attention on him.
Georgia did that on, I mean, we're looking at it. Georgia's saying to the quarterback, hey, look, you got 3-on-2 with a cushion. Why don't you take that? Take those 4 yards. There you go. Good job. We'll rally the ball. 3rd and 8. It's exactly what Georgia wanted.
4 receivers bunched to the left now. Empty backfield on 3rd down. Jefferson looked like a run all the way. Dogs were onto it, and they slam him down the line of scrimmage. Nakobe Dean, the All-American linebacker on the stop. Dogs are feasted.
Chris, when I sat down with this Georgia defense, we started talking about 3rd down and pressure. I said, what are you going to do about him throwing the football? They said, no. 3rd and 8, man. We're ready for run. We're thinking run. And you can see Nakobe Dean that time, even though he's trying to potentially rush the quarterback, his eyes are up in case they're running the football. Did not fool the Georgia defense. They were ready to roll.
Bauer, another punt from his own end zone. Here is Jackson near midfield. It's blocked! And Dogs fall on it for a special teams touchdown! Zamir White, the running back, on the recovery. It's 150 DBs down there now.
Wow, Chris. Dan Jackson came from way back, 47, to eventually get in, and I think surprised the punt team from Arkansas. They disguised where the pressure was coming, and eventually Jackson comes free. You'll see him come free, but he came from way off where they didn't account for him.
Dogs hadn't had a special teams touchdown in about 3 years. Take care of that in this incredibly dominant first quarter.
How about Dan Jackson? He's back here. Arkansas is not thinking. Look at the gap right here. They're not thinking about 47 right now. They don't have to account for him. Look, at last second he comes and is able to get in there almost untouched. Really great call by the special teams coordinator there to come up with that block.
Georgia has a lot of these 4- and 5-star athlete starters on special teams, and it shows. Here's the progressive pylon cam view.
That's a great view. 47, Dan Jackson blocks it. He's a backup safety. Does a good job in that role, but this time makes his living on special teams. His head was up. He's looking everywhere for the ball. He wanted to not only block it, but score the touchdown.
Great first quarter for White, who ran one in and now falls on the block punt. Arkansas has run 6 plays. They have 1 total yard. And they are down 21-0. And this is a defense that hadn't allowed any points in the first quarter all year. This is adversity. This qualifies as serious adversity on the road.
Yeah. This is kind of what Texas faced when they went to Fayetteville as far as energy. And it was at the back of the Hogs a few weeks ago, and now it's in front of them.
First obstacle catch the field or the kickoff so they can start the 25. Here's the weekend wake up brought to you by Wendy's Breakfast. Featured games here. Talked about the games in the SEC, Auburn, LSU, Death Valley in prime time. Oregon and Stanford, interesting game. You think the Ducks are on upset alert there on the farm?
I do. I think Stanford with Tanner McGee, they're playing better. They just got to be able to defend the run against Oregon. Obviously, Oregon can run the ball with C.J. Verdell, Travis Dye, Anthony Brown, the quarterback. Got a man down for Georgia.
Looks like you're stretching out the leg, the hamstring there. Yeah, oh, it's Kobe Dean then. Number 17, he's a key part of that defense. Not a particularly hot day here. Temperatures were in the low 70s. It's warmed up a bit in the last hour or so. Wouldn't expect cramp to be a problem this early in the game.
He's the quarterback of this defense for Georgia. I mean, when I sat down with him, every one of these guys pointed to 17, 4.0 engineering student and major. Just an interesting guy from Mississippi. Actually went up against K.J. Jefferson in some all-star games, so he was fired up to have a chance to go up against him.
Guy was a top tackler for this defense last year. And they were able to stretch him out.
Chris, that may be a double 17 on us.
It didn't look quite as thick as Dean.
No, it doesn't.
Double numbers in college football.
Jackson Meeks, the receiver.
There you go. That would make sense on a kickoff coverage team. Meeks, the guy that is rotating in because they don't have a lot of healthy bodies, a freshman out of Alabama. So Dean's okay, and Meeks helped off. And now if you're Jefferson and you're the play caller, Kendall Briles, what do you do to try to get some traction here?
You got to go back to what's been your bread and butter, which is your running game. They run the ball to set up shots downfield, and the way Georgia's playing with two safeties back, you've got to be able to run the ball.
And they're all over the quarterback run. Fake the handoff, gained nothing there. Jalen Carter, the lead blocker on the touchdown a while ago. Familiar role as the tackler this time.
Yeah. Jordan Davis gets a lot of attention because of his size, and he passed on the NFL draft a year ago, 99. But I think 88 may be the most gifted defensive lineman that Georgia has, and that's saying a lot because there's NFL players across the board up there.
Jefferson has time on play action, just checks it down to the flat, and it's a good move there. Rocket Sanders made a man miss, and he's still running. They thought they had him penned in. That's the kind of play this Hogs offense needed.
Oh my gosh, is that a big play? That's a simple check down and a good job by Sanders getting away from Brini, the nickel who was out there. He was in position, but physicality there from the freshman.
Option after the 22-yard gain. They play with some tempo. Jefferson takes off on the keeper. Big fella rumbling into the secondary. Tackled at the 22. There are 3 flags on the field.
And it looked like a holding call that they'll get on that run. But boy, you finally saw a little bit of energy and momentum.
Holding. Offense, number 84. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
Receiver Warren Thompson.
First down.
Thompson on a great run that wouldn't have had anything to do with the run, but that's where Kendall Briles, he gets a good play on a check down by Raheem Sanders, breaks a tackle, picks up yards, then he goes speed option. It's getting big yards. Look at the top there, grabs onto the jersey. There's really no need to do that. He's holding on to Kendrick, the corner. But man, they get self-destruct. Another mistake for Arkansas. They'd have had the ball around the 30-yard line. Now they're back to midfield and momentum and tempo, and now they lose all that.
It's a spot foul, so it's going to be first down at about 6. Sanders again. Raheem, but they all call him Rocket. He's out of Florida.
If you can't tell, no matter who plays Georgia this year, you've got to do something besides just line up and play football. You've got to affect their eyes. You've got to get them somehow on their heels. And that was where, you get a couple first downs, you can do that.
Sanders, and they were able to get a first down, 42.
So there's a first down. I want to see if Kendall Briles, he's got, that's where your momentum and your aggressive approach can come in, where Georgia's looking over, just got a first down. They're trying to get the call from Dan Lanning. Kendall Briles wants to go faster to try to slow down that Bulldog mentality from Georgia.
It's Burks coming in motion. They loop around. They hand it off inside to Dominique Johnson, their most physical back, but Dean is waiting for him right there. Gained about a yard. Looks like that'll be the final play of the first quarter. Well, the Dogs coming out swinging. Long touchdown drive to take the lead. Good field position for the second touchdown drive. Block a punt and recover it. 21-0 in Sanford Stadium. End of the first quarter. Back after these messages. And welcome back. ESPN College Football presented by Marathon. This presentation of the SEC on ESPN. They built Sanford Stadium in 29. Welcome the Bulldogs from the north. Yale down here to dedicate it, and they shut out Yale. It's a huge deal for Southern football at the time. Goodyear providing the aerial coverage. Anything can happen as long as you have the drive. Goodyear, more driven. In the flat, Burks, they've just got to get him loose. He's just got to have yards after the catch if the Hogs are going to have any success today.
Yeah, well, it's tough when this Georgia defense provided by the Kirby Smart, Dan Lanning, the defensive coordinator, got them in position. Their eyes are in the right spot. Christopher Smith, that time 29, reacting so quickly. Got a quad formation up top.
Some big bodies over there. Jefferson runs it and breaks the tackle. Barrels over a couple of defenders and leans down to the 25-yard line. That shows you what he can do in the open field.
So the reason they go real quick here with the quad is to get him over just a little bit. And by moving him over, it allows the center to get up and then enough room to get the first down.
13-yard run. Burks in motion. Dominic Johnson is the back. And he's got the football. He's tough to tackle as well. He got about 4. They never do get him to the ground. Channing Tyndall, top tackler this year.
Stop. Arkansas catches a break there. The left guard, Brady Latham, moved early. Was not caught there by the umpire or any of the officials. So instead of a 1st and 15, they get some positive yards. All they said, Sam Pittman said, if we can get 3 yards, we want to live in 2nd and 6 and 3rd and 4 all day.
They've been going backwards on
Yeah, exactly. Got to stay ahead of the sticks against this Georgia defense.
The speedy Sanders is in the backfield. Play clock at 2. Sanders has it, and they've got him. Falls forward for a yard, drawing the traffic. Nolan Smith came around the edge to grab him.
Yeah, watch. We just talked about Jalen Carter, his athletic ability, swim technique. Gets around, uses hands, helps close off. And how about the speed, as you said, of Nolan Smith? There's just so much size and speed and attitude up front.
It's well put. Size, speed, strength, attitude, smarts, all of it.
And love for one another, which helps out with a great defense.
Need 5 on 3rd down. Jefferson pump fake. He was going to run all the way. Dogs were all over it, and they slam him to the ground. That's big Jordan Davis up to about 360, but still moving around pretty quick. 4th down.
He wanted to get the ball out quickly to Kern, who was coming over from the right side. See him work. 87 works over, but it's covered. It's taken away, so all he can do is try to create. Now, he's not twitchy. He's 255 pounds. You can't allow him to build up speed, which they took away right away. Nowhere for him to run.
Cam Little, a true freshman kicker who is perfect for his career. 8 for 8 so far. That's the curse. Misses for the first time. Nothing going right for the Razorbacks on the road. Drove it 55 yards. Stopped on 3rd down and come up empty. They are charged up in the Georgia student section. The Viv Moss Student Section of the Year contest brought to you by Taco Bell. Use student section sauce to get the attention. ESPN.com/Taco Bell.
Look at my man here.
Hug at 10.
He's like, well, we're up 21. My work here is done. Turn the AC on, get the ice out.
Didn't even need the ice. He's not even heated up yet.
No, he's chilling. Sums it up right there in this first part of this game.
Dogs first 18 plays, 14 runs, make it 15 runs. And if you're running back, just give me the rock. This offensive line is mauling people.
It's been a big story. Todd Monken's got to love what he's seen. So much talk about how physical Arkansas's defense has been, how they're flying to the football with their hair on fire. They've not seen that yet in this game.
That's just, it looked easy. And he's rolled for about 5 more in a first down.
Yeah, Todd Monken's in the booth right next to us. He's seeing the same from the same vantage point that we are looking down, and he's seeing that surge and that push from the offensive line.
You're having a good skull session with Barry Odom about the scheme that he uses, which is the defense's answer to the spread, right? Yeah. All the speed in the field, but they are a little bit vulnerable to this, aren't they, when you just run the rock right downhill at them? Yeah,
3 down linemen. There's a lot of space there, but the linebackers attacking in the middle and on the edges is supposed to prevent getting creased. Georgia makes their first mistake of the game. Movement by the right side.
Ball starts. Offense. Number 70. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Holly, what do you have?
Well, guys, it's such an awkward thing because the thanks for this offensive line, some of it goes to Sam Pittman, who's on the opposing sideline right now. He actually is the O-line coach at Georgia, recruited 3 of these starters today. Warren Erickson, Warren McClendon, and Jamari Salyer were some of the kids that he was the primary recruiter on and the closest with on this team. So Georgia fans, you got to say a little thank you. This line looks great, and part of it's because of Sam Pittman.
They remain so close, Holly. They actually, some of them were tearful when he announced he was leaving them. A lot of hugs and handshakes for Pittman before that. I think he broke a conference record. I told him all the folks here that think so highly of him greeting him before the game, but the game is on, and the Dogs are dismantling Pittman's Razorbacks. Cook just sprints into Arkansas territory, 24-yard gain.
But Grant Morgan takes himself right out of the play here by blitzing to the inside. Then they set the edge there with a tackle Salyer, and he's got all that space to run.
Cook, hop sideways, nice cut there to pick up about 4.
So much for getting behind the sticks, right? 1st and 15. You're thinking, okay, well, let's see what Stetson Bennett can do. No. Just go right back to old reliable. Run the ball, rotate these backs, control the line of scrimmage.
Guys operating the 6 have been busy when Georgia got the ball. They're moving quickly.
I don't know what they're averaging on 1st and 10. We'll have to look at that with our next level stats, but I'm guessing it's got to be 5-6 yards a carry.
Feels like it, at least. There's a modest 4-yard gain on that 1st down.
You know it's coming.
White barreling forward. It's just hot knife through butter at the moment. Here's the offensive line that Holly talked about. Salyer, Schaefer, Erickson, McClendon, Van Pran. They have 3 guys who can play center.
And you have 3 guys that have played a lot of football, and you can see that they've worked, they've worked some inexperience in this year, but they have really, from the Clemson game, that was a much tougher defensive front, to this game, like you can just see and feel the continuity that they have built, the confidence they have.
White around the end. Georgia fans have been wondering when this running back room, which is as deep as any in the country, so many talented backs, we're finally going to get going. They've lacked explosive runs in the first 4 games, but today we're seeing by far the best performance this offensive line has had.
Besides explosive runs, I just think that, you look at the 1st and 10 plays so far, 11 rushes. Like we said, about 5 or 6 at 6.6 on 1st and 10. That is a really good way to not just be effective, but you talk about imposing your will and what you're doing to the mindset of an Arkansas defense when you can run the football like that. That's devastating to a defense.
7th play of the drive coming up. All 6 so far have been runs. And why go away from that? That time they swarm him in the backfield. It's a 2-yard loss for McIntosh. And a 3rd and long coming up.
Yeah, the first time we've seen Markel Etsy does a nice job of knifing through that defense. Gets to the inside of Warren McClendon, the right tackle. And finally we see a tackle for a loss to set up a 3rd down. But 55 and 0 and 99 have made a big difference in why Arkansas coming into this game have been so much better defensively. And finally we see Utsey make a good play.
Bennett's only thrown 4 passes today, completed 3 of them. See if he pitches it around on 3rd and 10 from the pocket. He'll launch downfield and no chance to make a play. A.D. Mitchell again, a flag is out. Hudson Clark in coverage.
And they create a one-on-one matchup against Clark. Find that he's just grabbing on to him. Hudson Clark, a backup corner. They went right to him and found the matchup, got him isolated one-on-one.
There are fouls by each team during the play. Holding, offense, number 59. Pass interference, defense, number 17. Those penalties offset. Replay, 3rd down.
I think it was 69, Salyer, the left tackle.
It bails out Clark from the PI.
Sure did.
Just redo it. It'll be 3rd and 9 again.
You have Hudson Clark in right now for Bishop, Brown on the other side, and they'll leave these corners on islands. It's just part of the style that they play. This matchup's now at the top of your screen with Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell's matched up against him one-on-one.
Haven't seen the freshman tight end Brock Bowers, their top receiver, who's been an impact player in every game. Haven't seen him get a touch. That's what you call a quick start. And Bennett is hit. Flying off the edge was Trey Williams, their top pass rusher.
Yeah, but the receiver moved as
Offside.
well.
Defense, number 55, unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
Trey Williams jumped early, so instead of 3rd and 10 or 3rd and like 9.5.
Just a bit early.
Yeah. He just jumped it. He's trying to get a get off there, which is what he's known for.
Right. That's an example of a defense pressing. Right. They've been moved around, out muscled so far. Williams trying to make a play that would kill the drive. Instead, it's 3rd and 4.5 now.
Because there's Bowers, who you talked about moving a little bit.
Bennett fires downfield. He tried to get it to Bowers and sent through it into traffic, and it was broken up by Simeon Blair.
Wow, Simeon Blair, I don't know how he dropped the football. I mean, if you're going to get back into a football game, you got one-on-one chance. You know that you're going to get the ball probably thrown to 19. Tight window. He tries to squeeze it in. That's the one thing with Stetson Bennett. He'll look great. He'll look in command, and then he'll put one in traffic. And Blair, he goes in the air. He's got his hands on the football.
I don't know if his teammate Clark did him any favors. He may have helped break it up over there. So instead of the pick, it's a 46-yard field goal attempt by Jack Podlesny. They call him Pod, and he drives it through. Everything going right for the Dogs, including special teams dominance. 24-0.
ESPN College Football, presented by Marathon, is brought to you by New Coke Zero Sugar. Now even more delicious.
Well, the Bear on game day, Chris Felica, let's just say he's not surprised by what we've seen so far here. He likes Georgia's chances of an emphatic statement win, and it's 24-0. Bear?
You guys have been giving me a lot of grief about giving you old historical trivia questions, so we're going to keep it modern area. If your mind can work last 5 years, this will be good here. So today's Athletic trivia question: since 2017, Georgia has 9 wins versus top 10 opponents, which is tied for third.
I'm going to say Alabama.
Which two teams have the most?
Alabama, Ohio State would be my off the top of my head. They played more than Clemson.
But Bear's not going to throw out. There's a trick. Maybe there's a trick to
pity. Now let's get back to Matt Berry for an update from the studio. Hey, Matt.
All right, gentlemen, AT&T 5G studio update. Duke and North Carolina playing football. Who wants to win the ACC? Well, Sam Howell, nice little toss there on North Carolina, 21-0. Bear, I know the answer, but I'm going to let Chris and Kurt go for it.
How many help we can get, Matt? You can help long distance.
Matty Berry, you can always assist us when it comes to Bears questions.
All right, awesome. Calling a game on Thursday. Man in the studio today.
Passion for college football.
Now it's getting a little desperate for the Hogs, down 24 here to make something happen. A.J. Green is the back. And the Dogs, it's his turn to get slammed hard after a 1-yard gain.
Yeah, you're right. The backs, they try to rotate backs. A.J. Green is a true freshman who ran a 10.3. He's got a huge future. 200-pounder, probably maybe their best overall back, just young.
To run a 10-3, you got to get out of the starting block. It's been hard. Jefferson on the run, a low throw, and a nice catch made there by Warren Thompson, but his route didn't take him to the marker, so it's third down.
No, but they get him away from pressure, roll him out, easy throw, throws it low and away. You're right, they're short, but at least it's third and short, which is where they want to try to execute, obviously, so it gives them a much better chance.
No, it was third and short. Now it's 3rd and 7.
Did you see the movement by Georgia?
False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Dalton Wagner, the right tackle. There was late movement by Georgia. Remember, it's 3rd and short. You're communicating. You're on the road. Look at 78 on the right. Just moved. Just barely flinched after that movement from Georgia as a group. It made him a little uncomfortable. The calls are being changed. You got all this noise in this stadium. There's a lot going on for those offensive linemen.
Yeah, you feel for him, but I don't know if an O-line can play a worse first half than this group has.
You're right. Got 4 receivers off to the left of K.J. Jefferson. They used some of that to try to run him, but Georgia, I'm sure, aware they'll bring Green back in.
Dogs with only 2 down linemen. They get it in the flat, and no chance to make a play.
flying up is Darian Kendrick, the former All-ACC corner at Clemson, to make the tackle on Green.
Well, that's a great job by 11, recognizing the motions, the indicator. He sees that. He knows they're going to try to block. Really poor execution on Arkansas's part. I mean, they left Kendrick alone. I don't know if they expected Green to beat him, but there are a lot of red jerseys flying to the football, but it started by 11 getting out there and setting the edge.
Once again, a false start penalty killed the chances. Went from 3rd and 2 to 3rd and 7. And so here's Reed Bauer, has been way too busy. It's a low kick. Jackson lets it bounce a couple times and tries to field it. A risky play. And he's going to be slung down for a loss. And Georgia will start back at the 27-yard line. T.J. Hammonds, the running back, down on the special teams tackle. And part of this monster day in the SEC, a triple-header on ESPN. 6 o'clock Eastern time. The Gators ranked 10th. Go to Lexington to take on Stoops Wildcats. And then Auburn in Death Valley to take on LSU. Both games on the ESPN app. So good divisional play.
What a great day of college football. There's our man, Lee Corso, had all his predictions ready. Had Georgia today. He wants to take a picture. We'll see he'll take a pic.
He picked against Arkansas. He's looking to be correct at the moment. Has Lee ever met Tusk, that gnarly old Razorback, that live mascot they have?
I don't think so.
I don't think he'd be hugging him. Oh my goodness, slammed in the backfield. Kendall Milton met hard by Zach Williams.
Boy, that's a nice job of getting off blocks and being able to get into the backfield. Bringing those linebackers. Trey Williams just kind of uses defensive end, bends around the bigger Sawyer off the edge of that defense and is able to penetrate. That's what these guys do. Tackles for loss. They're coming into this game top 15 in the country. They like to get you behind the sticks and force you into some obvious passing situations. Haven't been able to do that the entire game.
Not at all. 2nd and 11. Bennett drops back. Clean pocket. Chooses to scramble, scans the field, just throws it away.
That's Arkansas in a nutshell right there.
Holly?
You guys think about the journey of Stetson Bennett IV. He's from a tiny town in South Georgia, Blackshear, about 3,400 population. Walks on here, runs the scout team for a while, then realizes he really needs to go somewhere else if he wants to play. So he goes to a small JUCO at Jones College, Ellisville, Mississippi, and then he comes back. And he was 3rd string much of this season, but he got an opportunity after the injury to JT Daniels, and he worked his way up the chart. Kirby said he was the best guy at practice. He made us feel like he gives us a chance to win.
And he plays with a chip on his shoulder too, Holly. I mean, it's incredible in this era of backup quarterbacks leaving. Love that he stayed and fought.
Nice to have the luxury of an experienced backup. You know, Carson Beck is a very talented guy, but just the moxie, the experience, the attitude Bennett brings, that's why he's in there at the moment.
That series was Arkansas football in 2021. And you see Kirby communicating in a very passionate way with Stetson Bennett, who Holly just talked about. And the 2nd down play, they dropped 3, they dropped 5 under. There's 8 guys in coverage. That's where there was no pass rush, but he had nowhere to go with the ball. And then they force a throw underneath where they're able to get off the field.
First punt for Jake Camarda, one of the best in the country. He's going to be punting for a long time on Sundays. There's a flag down. Nathan Perotti, with a chance on the return, is slammed down at the 28. The marker is back near the line of scrimmage. Maybe a 2nd flag at the end of the play. Daniels in a helpful role on the sidelines. They're looking at lending whatever he can to Bennett. It's a booming kick by Camarda, 52 yards.
There are 2 fouls on the play, 1 against each team. Illegal formation, kicking team, more than 4 players in the backfield. During the return, block in the back, receiving team. Those fouls offset, replay, 4th down.
You know, Camarda, a guy that handles the kickoff duties, is also the holder. But all of his punts this year, all of them, haven't been very many, have either been down inside the 20 or 50-plus yards. He's as good as there is.
Just add that to everything else that they're doing.
Well, the special teams have been a mismatch. And when you're Arkansas and you're getting hammered to the line of scrimmage. Your offense is jittery. You cannot get dominated in the special teams. Well, they have been so far today.
They have. I mean, every drive that they've been starting, I mean, it's been deep in their own territory.
Block punt for a touchdown. They muffed the kickoff, missed a 38-yard field goal. Everything has gone wrong. This time it's not a high kick. Camarda kicks it low, and it's returnable for Perotti. Falls forward to the 36.
Number 56,
Got another flag down on the opposite field, opposite side of the field.
We're having a hard time getting this punt off here. But the penalties on Georgia have not been nearly as costly as the ones on Arkansas.
Formation, kicking team, more than 4 players in the backfield.
Same thing again.
5-yard penalty is added to the end of the run. First down.
I'm looking at Bill
Arkansas.
Lamagna to explain how they could get the same unusual penalty twice in a row.
They figured out how to punt the ball. We just got to work on the alignment.
Only thing they haven't mastered so far today. Hogs football when you come back.
Coming up on the Lexus halftime report, it is all Tennessee against Missouri. We'll show you what Josh Heupel has going on the road. Plus, Michigan looking strong in their first half against Wisconsin. And we'll preview Alabama Ole Miss. Jesse Palmer and Joey Galloway, they're fired up today. We'll have all of that coming up on the Lexus halftime report.
And we recommend Matt, Jesse, and Joey. But if you'd like to see the Georgia Redcoat marching band at halftime, the SEC Network Plus has that also on the ESPN app. This is the best field position the Hogs have started with from their own 36. And Smith, their top running back, is slammed down. Once again, it's Jordan Davis getting out in the edge to make a play.
I mean, the big man, 360 pounds, is able to work from the inside out. I mean, they're trying to set the edge. They're not worried about 99 getting out there. Are you kidding me?
God, that's what they love about him when they put that tapes as NFL scouts check it out, is what you look for on Sundays from a man at that position. Second and long. Jefferson just looking for something. Fires on the sidelines, and the catch is made over there by Warren Thompson. It'll be 3rd and short again.
Arkansas just trying to get anything going. Look at these first 4 drives, their personnel groupings, their formations. They're trying to do anything to try to give this Georgia defense something to have to think about, have to communicate. You can see they haven't had the greatest field position to start off most of these drives.
Trying to avoid a 4th 3 and out in their first 5 possessions here. They need 3 on 3rd.
And 1 of 5 on 3rd down.
4 receivers to the left. Typically this is a formation they'll run the quarterback out of. Burks comes in motion. Jefferson took a look, tries to get it to him. It was just no chance. He was covered by Brini on the edge. Throw wasn't on target, and it's 4th down again.
Yeah, what Kendall Briles has done as a play caller with KJ Jefferson is still picking up this offense and getting comfortable. Game still moving fast. It's a good effort there by Burks. They run the ball to simplify the reads and make things as easy as you can be for him, especially on the road. He's a bright guy. He understands the offense. It's just reading defense and scheme is right now moving fast for him. So they're trying to simplify it, which makes it tough again when you're in predictable play calling.
Yeah, you can't get the running game going at all. Bauer, his best punt so far. Garrett Jackson driven back and makes the fair catch at left. Been a while since we had the athletic trivia question from the Bear. I was pretty quick on the guess there.
So you say Alabama. I'm going to throw out. You said Ohio State, maybe Clemson.
Well, Kirk has kind of caught on to the little trick here with the athletic trivia question. And today's answer: Alabama is the team tied with Georgia with 9. Number 1 is LSU. Number 2 is Ohio State.
How about that?
That was kind of a trick.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got to be ranked in the top 10. You got to play in a conference where you have a lot of opponents ranked in the top 10 or get to the playoff.
Yep.
Dogs have 2:17 before half to add to this lead. Zamir White about a yard up the middle. Man, this has been a run-heavy scheme. Bennett hasn't had to do a lot. Kirk, a couple of nice throws, but
4 of 7.
23 runs out of the 30 plays they've run. And you talked about Arkansas and the challenge of coming in here in a road game and dealing with a very talented Georgia team that seemed to be on edge. I mean, the coach has said the jury's out on this team. We got a lot to prove still. They're proving a lot here, but Arkansas also self-destructive.
Yeah, I think self-destructing. And Georgia, to Kirby's credit, his staff, they came out with a plan, and they're executing that plan on both sides. Stetson Bennett, he hadn't been asked to do much because they've been able to run the football. Now, Barry Odom is a great defensive mind for Arkansas. Let's see what kind of adjustments he makes to try to help his defense defend the run. Only so much you can do, right? I mean, if you're getting manhandled up front because of just plain physicality, that's one thing. But you got to try to come up with some answers to outnumber the box and get those safeties in
you
there.
can't make the adjustment of putting 12 or 13 out there. He'd like to do that.
Yeah,
that would be helpful at the moment.
Can't do that. Can't do that. They need penetration. You know, they need to get into that backfield.
And there's a pre-snap foul. Georgia's kind of lost their focus a bit themselves.
Ball start
with this big
offense,
lead.
Number 3, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
It's on White, the back. And Kirby knows it. They were so impressive, so dominant. It was all so easy for him. And a few mental mistakes here in the second quarter.
Sometimes when you jump out and it is easy, you do lose some of that focus you came in with when people were questioning you. And, you know, being around that defense the other day, you could almost feel that people were doubting them, that's how they felt anyway. And they came out with a super focus.
If a team believes it, it's real for them. I mean, they started in the top 5. It was a powerful one by White. They're up to number 2. They're blowing people out. I don't know how you could feel disrespected. But
well, I think it's with all the talk about Arkansas, all the positivity about Arkansas, coaches can somehow turn that into you're being doubted. You know, and so far, Arkansas, they have not helped themselves. It's the opening drive. Georgia scores, and Arkansas has a couple of false start penalties. They drop a kickoff. They get a punt block. It was almost like what could go wrong next. They finally moved the ball a little bit, have a chance to get on the board, and the great kicker misses a field goal. So it's just been great Georgia, but Sam Pittman, I'm sure, is frustrated because his team is self-destructed in many ways in his first half.
Georgia, meanwhile, scored in their first 3 possessions. All scoring drives were 9 plays, plus they got that block punt for a touchdown.
Don't forget, he said on our call this week with myself, you, and Holly, I want to see how we handle adversity. You know, whether you lose a game or you're in the middle of a game, we're going to get adversity in this game. I want to see how we handle that. And you're in a big stadium. You're on the road, really a true road game for the first time. Things aren't always going to go our way. How are we going to respond?
They can get a stop here. Get a good chance to produce some points before halftime. They use their timeout to preserve time. And now Bennett running, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds. It's right near the marker. Hayden Henry forced him out. It is a first down, Georgia.
That's what he brings to the table. You know, they're going to take away everything downfield, which is where all his receivers were. There's nobody open. So with JT Daniels, he's got to throw that ball away. And with Stetson Bennett, he's able to keep that play alive and utilize his legs and quickness and pick up a first down, keep this drive alive.
Yeah, so much for the Razorbacks going to get a chance to get the football in good field position.
That was everything that they wanted, took away every receiver, and now you just got to get to the quarterback.
Milton met right away and wrestled down by Bumper Poole. Solid, smart linebacker, one of my favorite names in the sport.
And Todd Monk, I'm looking over at him wondering if they're comfortable with just kind of working the clock here. And he's got a little bit more urgency now and energy about his play call. Let's keep an eye on him.
See if he takes a shot.
Yeah, I mean,
really pressed the ball down.
His hands were moving. But they still look like they're in chill mode.
Yeah, all 3 timeouts, not spending one. Play clock winding down. See if they lull the dogs or the hogs to sleep. Now they just hand it off inside. Milton falls forward, and still no urgency here. Content to be up 24.
Yeah, and Todd Monken responding to what Kirby Smart wants. I mean, they're up 24. Kirby obviously feels pretty good about the way his offense is playing.
I mean, it's not for the faint of heart or the easily offended. A practice with this guy, he is wild.
Yeah, I see you and I back there in the background.
Everybody, yeah, they're just next door over to our left
right
here.
Next door to us.
Todd is an interesting character. He'll use the entire vocabulary to make his point. How can I put it?
Yeah,
more subtly. Well, the Hogs defense, that's not the stop they wanted, because now Georgia can just run this clock down. But they do make a tackle. It's 4th down.
You know, Bennett got the call when Daniels couldn't go with that lat injury. Hasn't had to do much besides show poise and leadership. Let the big fellas up front move the Hogs right out of the way. A powerful running game for Georgia. They rushed for 139 in the first half. Excel in special teams, and they are routing the underdogs from Fayetteville. End of the half here. Time now for the Lexus halftime report. Eager to hear Matt, Jesse, and Joey with an update from around the country. Guys?
Chris Fowler, thank you. Kirk Herbstreit, good stuff. Lexus halftime.
Once again, a misfire. I'll tell you, we talked about Sam Pittman's credentials.
Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty, first down.
As an offensive line coach over the years, many places. He's made 17 moves in 35 years. He coaches the big guys. Besides being disappointed, Kirk, he has to be a little bit embarrassed by how his guys have played. And on the other side, a bunch of Georgia guys that he mentored and recruited, they come in inspired by Pittman's presence here, and they're playing their best game.
That's a good point. But are you kidding me? Start the first play of the second half. Now you got to be 1st and 15. Now it's 2nd and 15.
Wyatt was giving chase.
It's like deja vu. It's the exact same place on the field, and they have a false start by the right tackle, Dalton Wagner, and now they're trying to get away from Wyatt, who's chasing him down. He just has to throw it away because of penetration by 95. That's exactly how the game started.
Wagner's had the hat trick so far. 3 false starts for the big right tackle. Braylon Smith out of the backfield. You know, Jefferson looked that way and instead throws it downfield. A leaping attempt made there by Burks. Couldn't come up with it.
Again, Kendall Briles getting him away from the pressure. Move that launch point. Use the tight end to try to help you out. Give you a little bit more time. Actually, a really nice touch on that football to give Burks a chance. He goes up with that right hand, but eventually Lewis Seen, 16, gets there and knocks him away from the football.
That's what it's going to take. Maybe a circus catch, something spectacular to complete a pass against this Georgia defense downfield today. And another flag pre-snap.
Now the center was leaning back. Again, they're having a hard time, even with the clap, trying to hear that through this crowd. He was anticipating the snap. He was
Illegal
just sitting back.
Offense, number 51. 5-yard penalty.
Every team prepares for noise. You try to simulate it as best you can. It's nothing like the real thing, obviously.
Yeah, and here he's waiting to hear it. Watch the center. He's waiting. Is he clapping? Is he gonna clap? 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 20.
3rd down has been a nightmare. 1 for 6. Most of them have been very long. Well, they throw it underneath, and that doesn't work either. Blake turned the tight end. Another flag is down on the play.
It was on the near side.
That might have been an ineligible downfield as the quarterback took a long time to
Ineligible
get
receiver
the ball.
downfield. Offense, number 55. The penalty is declined. Results of the play, 4th down.
Razorbacks have 110 more penalty yards than their opponents coming into this game. It's been a problem, but not quite to this degree.
Make no mistake, this has a lot to do with Georgia's team and their defense, obviously, but a lot to do as well with this atmosphere, being on the road for the first time and pressing and being, I think, just flat out nervous. This Arkansas team looks rattled so far in this game.
5 3-and-outs and 6 possessions. They're shifting around. Remember, they had a punt block for a touchdown in the first half. The Dogs going to come after it again. They do. This time Bauer gets it away, but it's ugly. Really ugly. Rattled, nervous, all of the above.
Things like that. The kicker missing a kick that he makes. It's a chip shot, that he never misses. All those things are just adding up.
Thankfully, Holly Rowe not rattled on the sidelines down there.
Well, guys, you're exactly right. Sam Pittman came out of the locker room and said, everything we're doing is wrong. They're jumping on us right now. We're making mistakes that's only making it more loud down there. He said, we have got to start throwing the football more. They're able to just tee off defensively. We need more space. He said, listen, the pressure's on Georgia. We've just got to be able to drive it down the field and put some more pressure on them. They're going to use first down throws more on that you'll see in this offense. And they did that in that last drive. It just got messed up because of penalties.
Yeah, another penalty, another 3-and-out, an ugly punt, and Georgia starts in plus territory. The 46.
This is like deja vu, right?
And the whole thing has been tilted in whatever direction Georgia's moving. Cook breaks the tackle at the line, and Again, gets about 6.
And I'll tell you, the body blows that they endured in the first half with what Georgia didn't throw it all over the place in the first half. Georgia ran the ball, and play after play, they consumed clock, body blow, and then you're not getting any help from your offense. You just wonder when that can start to impact the tackling and the mental, the mindset of Arkansas's defense.
Cook near the marker. You know, Kirby Smart loves boxing. He got into a whole boxing conversation with us yesterday. He says, in boxing, weight class matters. If you can be a heavyweight against a welterweight, you can throw those body blows. It can accumulate. This was almost a first-round knockout, but they continued to pound away. White again. And this is just an average first down play for them today. Moved to 6 again, 5-6 more yards.
Again, they're just getting such a good push up front. Now, normally you would say from the left side, because that's the strength, 54 Schaefer, 69 Sawyer, but it's really been across the board. They have done a really good job. I keep bringing up the tight ends. Don't want to exclude them from this because they have a lot to do with just that push that you're seeing.
White again. Offensive line that lost on the 4th play of the season. Their starting guard, Tate Ratledge, had a foot injury against Clemson. So, as you mentioned, some guys have had to move around, adapt to different roles. So, it's come a while. This is the Georgia offensive line performance people expected to see.
Yeah. And when you know they're going to run it, Arkansas knows that they're going to run it. Matt Luke's guys up front. That last play, John Fitzpatrick just pushing Utsi all around.
McIntosh, nice, near the marker again before Catalan stopped him. Got to be an awful feeling for that defense. They are just being mauled.
Yeah, and again, you start to become mentally fatigued when this happens to you.
I mean, this is like Vince Dooley football. I mean, they barely need to throw. It's just pure power.
And as you're going through a day like this, the offensive line and the running backs gain more confidence with each carry, and the defensive line and the linebackers are losing confidence with each carry. This is where Arkansas, they need a fumble. They need something, obviously, to happen to try to regain some confidence and some momentum.
A fumble they can take back to the house, maybe. It's a 12th straight running play that Monken has called, of course, going back to the first half. That's a rarity in modern college football, unless he's calling it like his cousin. Tied at Army, right, with the wishbone.
Yeah, Jeff Monken at Army does. This is his kind of offense. But it is, for people that are used to watching spread, throw it around 50 times a game, this is the antithesis of Mike Leach and Mississippi State.
Milton tries to get the edge. He's going to be cut down. It was Catalan beating a block and making a play. 3rd down coming up.
Great effort there by Catalan. There's one guy that's not getting tired or mentally worn down. One of the top safeties in the country. Leader for this defense. Does so much. Coleman, a racer back there. Hasn't had a chance to really show what he can do in this game. But I just love look at his face. You can see he's fighting. He doesn't care what the score is. He's going to fight every single snap. And they do get them to a 3rd down here.
Good run stopper. Had a couple of picks against Rice earlier in the season. Dogs need 6. Bennett. Well, still not going to attempt to pass. Didn't have anybody open. Scrambled and forced out by Bumper Poole. And here comes the field goal team.
Yeah, that's a win, obviously, for Arkansas. Good job in coverage that time. They took away the tight end. They tried to sneak Fitzpatrick out into the flat. But he was taken away there by Joe Fouché. Took him away in the flat and get that offense off the field and have to settle for a field goal.
But Lesney is settled in after a somewhat rocky start to the season. Missed one against Clemson. It was good earlier from 46. This one from 30. And he gets it inside the right uplay. Georgia, short field, adds 3 more on. 27-0.
Turn that damn jukebox! Turn that jukebox!
September was a dance party for Sam Pittman of the Razorbacks. That jukebox he's got a few more slots, but he's got some classic CDs from all different genres, and they were just dancing around having a great time. Destroyed Texas. Got past Texas A&M, which has been their nemesis.
Yep.
Come in here ranked in the top 10. Nobody expected that a month ago, but it's been a little bit of a Razorback reality check today.
They've become, coming into this game, kind of a media darling nationally and a big story. I think people expected them, it'd be a tough ask to come in here, but a lot of people thought it could be a very competitive game.
Oh, they got the Dogs' attention, that's for sure. Arkansas not really used to being in the top 10. 2012 was the last time. Started 4-0 in 2003.
You picked the music for all the.
They would lose 3 in a row under Houston Nutt. I'm all right with all these different genres.
Yeah, there you go. Just
but the jukebox has been unplugged for the moment by this Georgia football team and this crowd and Arkansas miscues. Option pitch, Rocket Sanders on the edge, and the Rocket never gets to launch. Lewis Seen and that Dogs pursuit. Tyndall was there as well.
Well, Lewis Seen is known for his ability to come up and run support, speed option. He's got to take the back, and you can see Tyndall and Lewis Seen there. They knew it all along with that. They read speed option. Quarterback's taken by the end. They have to fill the alley. Good job.
Jefferson looking to throw on 2nd and 10, and the pocket collapses. Dean affected him first, slammed to the ground. Wyatt helped out.
Well, there's nowhere to go with the ball. This is a coverage sack that Dean eventually gets there, along with the help of Wyatt. Look downfield as he's trying to figure out where to go with this football. I mean, look at this. Look at the coverage. Where's he going to go with the ball, right? I mean, he's got nobody there to find open, and eventually Dean takes it away. But that was a long, developing play with only 3 receivers downfield, all of them downfield pretty far, and nowhere to go.
And the ball comes out. Catch made along the sideline, short of the marker. Yeah, on that sack. That's a freshman running back, Sanders. That's a tough ask for him to block Dean, who's a great blitzer, elite blitzer.
Yeah, one of the best blitzers probably in the country, especially on 3rd downs when the quarterback's back there. How many times did he blitz DJ Uiagalelei for Clemson? I mean,
15 is the answer.
He was back there all the time, pressuring. Yeah, he's got a good feel for it. It's one thing to blitz and have speed. It's another thing to kind of have those instincts and savvy to feel how to get there, how to time it up.
Well, another punt. Power gets it away. That's a pretty good effort. Jackson drifting back. No fair catch. Eludes one man at the 18, and the pursuit grabs him at the 20. For the hard work in college game day, man, are these folks great. The best. The tear down on the quad, pack up the trucks, but where are they headed next week? We're not so sure about that yet.
Yeah, we don't know.
Goodyear Blimp providing aerial coverage, making the plays that move you forward. Goodyear, more driven, above the 10th largest stadium in college football. About 93,000 here at the start, making noise. And there's the prize, the ultimate prize. National Championship Trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. Semifinals on New Year's Eve. Championship game in Indy. And Georgia fans certainly hope they're going to make their 2nd appearance in that championship game. Heartbreaker to Alabama 4 years ago.
It's the last play on the punt. Look at Lowen Smith. It's a small thing. He's doing his job, right? It's just kind of an illustration of the way this game has gone for Georgia and how physical they have been in this football game.
White slips a couple tackles, loses a shoe, and gets dropped at the line of scrimmage by Trey Williams.
There's Trey Williams showing up. 2nd time we've seen him kind of flash. He's had a heck of a start. A super senior who came over from Missouri, 18 starts at Missouri, and known as a pass rusher, but because of his quickness, he has an ability to get upfield. He got there initially, and White, because of how physical he can run, got away from him, but just disrupting the timing of the play for Arkansas.
He's one of the guys who had experienced this before when he was a Missouri Tiger. They came here in 2019 in a loss to Georgia. Handoff underneath the Cook. He ran inside that edge rush. Bumper pool on the stop. It'll be 3rd down.
I don't remember Georgia being this deep in their own territory the whole day.
No, they haven't started this.
You know, I mean, it's
this deep.
Not that they don't mind driving the length of the field and chewing up clock, but see what happens here on this 3rd down.
Well, they scored in their first 3 possessions, got the special team touchdown. They've lost their edge a little bit. There hasn't been much urgency. There have been a few miscues, and they haven't been marching the field since that quick start. Cook is split out way to the right. Bennett's looking back the other direction. The completion is underneath and slammed down is McConkey. Did he catch the ball far enough? Yeah, they're going to spot him short.
It's really close. McConkey has had to come on for this offense with all the injuries. I thought he got up there. He's a former high school quarterback, just a really good athlete. Has as good a quickness as anybody on the team. I think because he came back to the football, his route took him past the marker. He gets past the marker. You see that, but then he comes back to the ball. Boy, he's right there. But that initial step after, maybe they said he came back, but man, he was clearly across the line when he caught the football.
Flag down to the punt. I don't think the spot was great, Cook, but it wouldn't have made a difference. He was still short of the marker.
Did Georgia
clearly going to punt the ball?
Did Georgia have too many in the backfield again? We had two times they called that in the first half. Remember that? Kirby?
Oh, yeah.
Illegal formation.
Oh, my
kicking
gosh.
team. More than 4 players in the backfield.
Holy cow, 3rd
the
time.
5-yard penalties added at the end of the kick. 1st down.
3rd time.
This is Will Muschamp, former Gamecock head coach who coordinates the special teams. Here it is.
Yeah.
Not on the line of scrimmage, I guess.
No, the receivers, you can see the personal protectors. You essentially have the 2 edge players.
Well, they'll get that worked out for next week's game.
3 times.
I mean, Kirk and Bill Lamagna are fired up for a teaching moment.
Yeah, well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 in the backfield, right? And then, Bill, is it here or the Gunners?
Yeah, they're going to leave those wideouts alone, but that tackle and that guard are way too far back.
Okay.
The man was excited about illegal formation and a punt. And Bill Lamagna, we could have a whole clinic here perhaps as the 3rd quarter unfolds on this obscure rule.
Well, it's just rare to see such a well-coached ball club, right, Bill? Like Georgia. Have 3 different times where they've had an illegal formation.
And the thing I say is sometimes those are game interrupters, but they were a foul.
A couple carries here for Rocket and Sanders. They're up near midfield. Here is UGA 10. All of these UGA mascots
came out.
He comes out. The Seiler family down there in Savannah. You know, this guy's been on the job since about 2015.
A lot of wins under his belt.
He's
right?
not the original Bulldog. You know, Yale has that guy called Handsome Dan, who's been around since the 1800s. Incomplete as a flag down on the far side. They've just tried to get the ball to Traylon Burks all afternoon, and why not? He's their top playmaker, and he has been blanketed. It's been tough to find him in space.
Holding. Defense, number 29. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic 1st down.
Chris Smith guilty of the penalty there. That's the first major penalty for the Bulldogs. But this is down there in the southwest corner of the stadium, the UGA Mausoleum. All of them are memorialized, and it has their one record, kind of what they've won and lost under their watch.
That's cool. I'm just glad he came out to enjoy the wins.
The first UGA, by the way, was famously as a wedding present to Sonny Seiler, who then brought it to the game, and they said, let's make him the mascot. You ever get a wedding present as a Bulldog? Jefferson up the back foot, again tries to get the ball in there, and a couple of flags come in as Kendrick was defending on Burks.
Well, Burks got away with a push-off last week, I feel, in his touchdown against Texas A&M. He may have gotten caught for one here, pushing off, trying to get open. It looked like he pushed Christopher Smith. Should be offensive.
Pass interference, offense, number 16. 15-yard penalty for the previous
It's been
spot.
frustrating for Burks here, a guy
down.
he's a huge talent. Got a big catch radius, got great hands. He's 6'3", he's fast, he's versatile, but he hasn't had a chance to make a play. Just shove it and out of the way.
He's 6'3", 225 as a wide receiver, and see Smith right away said, oh, he got away with that last week in Arlington against A&M. Not today.
11 penalty for the Razorbacks. 11 for 76. You got a long way to go.
Feels like almost all of them on the offense.
Yeah, first and 25. A lot of them on first down, right? Which creates a really difficult situation. The entire emphasis for Sam Pittman: first down,
Stay on schedule.
first down.
Stay on schedule. Win first down. Get to manageable second and third down. It's been the opposite.
If you don't, you get those specialty packages that Kirby Smart loves to bring in.
Yep.
Second and third and long.
It's tough on
Holly?
Well, guys, you were talking about Uga, and I just wanted to let Georgia fans out there know he did come out of his house. He took a stroll at halftime, but they brought out the Dr. Pepper National Championship trophy, and he went right up to it and started sniffing around it.
Really?
I'm telling you, he felt so at home and so comfortable. I got a little chill down my spine. I was like, I don't know. Is he trying to tell us something?
They were close to it 4 years ago.
Holly, he's getting comfortable with it because he's feeling it in his future. How about
it was natural. It was so natural.
Holly, how about him looking at the camera there, like, just step back off a little bit. Don't get too close now.
You know, it's a cool day when he's not straddling spread eagle on the ice bag.
We've seen that. He and I don't do well in the humidity. It's a mess.
You and him both have air conditioners 4 inches away from you, though.
We do, yeah, at all times. Wherever I go. Wherever I go, I take it with me.
First and a mile. Technically 25. They're going to run it. And Green's going to get nothing in the middle. That has been shuttered. Not open for business. Look elsewhere today.
Obviously a great strength, the size, the power, the scheme itself, just hard to run for anybody in the inside of this defense. These defensive linemen don't just eat up blocks, they get off of blocks. So they're not letting you get up to the linebackers who are getting downhill quickly, and they also make plays.
Team that comes in averaging 261 on the ground has 48, and it'll be less than that after the sack by Nakobe Dean, who hammered Jefferson from the blind side.
Well, the pre-snap movement, this affects the communication. Watch this defensive line move. When they move together, that offensive line has to adjust, and by the time they adjust, here comes a blitz with the two middle linebackers. And that is so challenging, not to mention you're on the road, and you got a true freshman running back, A.J. Green. It's expected to take on the best blitzing middle linebacker in the country. Man, that is a tough ask.
Dean's one of the best, but it's a team effort. 9 different dogs have a sack this year. That's a lot through 4 games, folks. Jefferson this time has protection and then checks it down. Completion on the sideline of the tight end, Blake Kern, and he gets some of the yards back, but nearly enough. He had to go all the way to the.
I'll tell you what, though. Georgia just lost Kern. I think they just thought he was in on a block. They went man, and a lot of the defenders went downfield. And if nothing else, it gives their punter a chance to try to pin Stetson Bennett, the offense, inside the 10.
Qualifies as a small win. The Arkansas offense. I mean, again, the penalties early in a series just dooming the drive. Impossible against this defense to put yourself behind the 6 and expect to succeed. Bauer drops the point, kicks it very high, and a fair catch made by Jackson at the 6-yard line. Tomorrow, Sunday, NFL Countdown. We're in Foxborough ahead of the Bucs-Patriots game. There's a couple of storylines involved in that one. There, neither guy being very talkative about the Brady-Belichick matchup. And then Monday Night Football in Los Angeles. The Chargers against the 3-0 Las Vegas Raiders at SoFi Stadium.
Raiders doing a great job. Steve Levy and Louis Riddick and Brian Griese doing an outstanding job on ESPN. You got the Mannings on ESPN2, so you got whatever you're looking for. But yeah, it's been fun. That Chargers team too. How about the job they've done offensively, just continuing with Herbert? That offense has been great.
And when you're a young quarterback going to the league, it's all about the fit, right? All about the guys you got around you. And Herbert's got a good situation. We've seen so many rookie quarterbacks really struggle in the NFL.
Yeah,
the fit.
Yeah.
So far, it's early.
It sure is. I mean, that's the thing that sometimes gets overlooked on draft day. We watch these college quarterbacks, and wherever they're going, especially if it's in a top 5 or top 10 pick, it's not always a great set of circumstances. I mean, you can look at all the greats, Peyton, Troy Aikman, a lot of these guys, they had to wait a year or two for the game to slow down and also better pieces around them.
Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson experiencing things they never experienced in college.
It's kind of part of it, though.
Cook kind of cutting and navigating his way. Catalan tackled him.
Well, usually these linebackers don't let ball carriers this year get outside of them. Usually they're able to kind of get that outside shoulder upfield and set the edge because the corner's gone. He's playing man, so if the inside backer pool is not able to get there, there's a lot of running room outside. This is where the pass rush needs to come from if Bennett drops back to throw.
Bennett hasn't been pressured all day, and he's going to launch downfield. A couple of flags are down, and incomplete. Another flag at the end of the play. Burton was being defended by Catalan.
Well, the Arkansas had a player just lined up off sides. And the safety that came up all the way up to the line of scrimmage to cover Bowers, he lined up off sides just playing man. That was one of the flags.
Once again, Hogs moving backwards. Bowers, the one game when he has not been showcased, and they had a feeling it was going to be tougher against this scheme.
There
to
are
get
multiple
him
fouls
easy
against the
access
defense.
yardage.
Offside, defense 15, decline. Holding, defense, decline. Pass interference, defense.
Oh my God.
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
The crowd's just having a laugh.
Well, it's an unfortunate day for Sam Pittman, but that play, 3 penalties on one play. There's the offsides right there where Blair got up across the line of scrimmage, and then you've got pass interference. You've got a holding call back a little closer to the line of scrimmage. They take the pass interference.
Last time we saw 3 flags against one team in one play.
That may be a first, Billy. I don't. Billy, you ever make a call like that?
I don't remember 3 in a game, but 3. They were all there.
One play.
Yeah, one play. Yeah.
That's a lot of games.
Seriously, you've been around the game with a lot of calls. You've never seen it yourself. Maybe
As you said, that is the day summed up.
That's it. Sports Center. Matty Berry, if you're listening back there, just make that part of your highlight if you could, because that kind of sums up that in the line of scrimmage.
Good thing is you only can count for 1, so they're sitting on a dozen penalties instead of 14.
Fair.
Now, there's been little to be amused about from the Razorback perspective. This was their first serious taste of adversity, and they'll take away a lesson from this game, but they're not going to be in the top 10 any longer. Jackson makes the catch. It's another first down.
And let me just say this. If you've not seen Arkansas play this year, this is a program that Sam Pittman took over. They didn't know how to win. And what they have experienced in his second year as a head coach, it was a newfound confidence. They're in uncharted waters where there's expectations and a high ranking in the top 10. And they beat Texas and they beat A&M, and they deserve that recognition. But the lights got bright. They walked out on that big stage, and they're going to have to learn a valuable lesson about growing as a program after today.
Bennett kept it and then just lofted it in the green grass up over the head of Jalen Johnson.
You know, when you take a program that's been off the beaten path and you put them right on that big stage, it's probably like tennis. When you get all of a sudden on the big stage at the U.S. Open or Wimbledon, it's a player that's maybe not ever been out there and they've been playing great, and they get out on that big stage.
Yeah, you got Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal across from you.
Whoa. It's not just the player you're dealing with, it's the energy of the event that you're dealing with. And Arkansas, I think, has had to deal with that.
Very different sports, my true loves, but
yeah,
your point's well made. I mean, in tennis, you're out there alone, but you're not getting hit.
Right, but I'm just saying, I'm talking about the magnitude of walking out there on center stage.
No, and until you've been there, you don't know, and it doesn't matter what the sport is.
Yeah.
And they clearly tried to get ready in Fayetteville.
But it's a learning. You know, they got Ole Miss next week. They got Auburn coming up. So you want to learn from this and move on.
See if the Dogs snap it or if that's it for the third quarter.
Well, that's it.
Georgia tacks on a field goal. 27-0 in Athens. At the end of 3, 4 fingers in the air for the number 2
Get him up.
team.
Get him up, Chris.
Student section party continues here. We're watching a presentation of the ACC on ESPN, set for the fourth quarter in Athens. Now, the next True South episode is going to come to you from here, the home of the Razorbacks, Lake Village, Arkansas. Hosts are going to stop off in a place known for its half pecan, half potato pies. Get that right, Kurt?
Pecan?
Half pecan.
Pecan?
Pecan or pecan. Pecan, as they say there.
Okay.
Next Sunday, October 10th.
Love that.
3rd and 9. Bennett, an empty backfield as we begin the final quarter. And once again, it's a free one because the Hogs jumped offside on the edge. It looked like Williams again.
Flag is down in the line of scrimmage.
Second time he's come out of the starting blocks a little early. Maybe another flag as well.
Offside. Defense, number 55. Penalty is declined. Holding. Defense. 10-yard penalty for the previous spot with a legal forward pass that includes an automatic first down.
Only 2 that time on Arkansas. Only 2 flags. Well, except the holding.
Brock Bowers on his route was he's about 10 yards downfield and just gets locked up. Just the defender just grabbed onto him and held on. See him get downfield, 19 running his route and just held by Miles Slusher.
Bowers without a catch. Targeted just once today. Milton tries the middle. Look at that. Look at him just push the pile. It's 27-0, and the work is not done for this Georgia offensive line, just mauling people.
Well, another great play that sums up this game. Look at this offensive line. Just pushing. They didn't hear a whistle. They're going to keep their leg drive going.
You know who the All Blacks are? The New Zealand, like the rugby team.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those. Yeah, I've seen
looked like the scrum.
It did have that feel.
Maybe the guys looked overmatched.
Coach Monken to our right here, maybe he'll simmer down a bit with 27-0 lead, seeing that push from his line.
Unlikely.
You think he's down 27. Reminds me of Coach Saban. It's worse when it gets ugly for the opponent.
Look at Milton spinning, twisting, fighting. It's a team that is hammering their opponents and hungry for more. It's been a statement from the first series, and they're not done talking.
No. And I think what you see there is the offensive line, again, is doing a good job. And the wear and tear of what these runs are doing to this defense, especially look at the missed tackles now. That's what you're going to start seeing. And then you got your fresh backs, White, Cook, Milton, McIntosh, just kind of keep rotating these guys in.
Milton with the Ole and Mateo Sola that time. And that's Kenny McIntosh. Short game. Talked about the stable. It's been rare for a Georgia back to have as many as 10 carries in a game. They really do spread the wealth around. And because it's been run heavy today, this is the most action these guys have had, Kirk. 15 for White, a dozen now for Cook, 10 for Milton.
They're loving it. Cook's the only one that you can see over 7 yards a carry.
And they're approaching 100 more yards rushing than Arkansas typically allows in a game. It's 215 for the Dogs and counting. McIntosh. And this Georgia crowd, a lot of them are still on their feet, just appreciating what they're seeing.
I think Stetson Bennett's loving it too. He can feel it being down there. Darren Brown, my spotter, his team spotter, just had an interesting observation about the offense. Almost feels like they're taking on the personality of the defense. You know, the defense plays with that bully mentality. This offense today against Arkansas, just whipping them up front.
It's been a while since they've reached the end zone. They've lost their focus a bit. You sense that some things were said on the Georgia sideline about this series coming out and reestablishing dominance, and it's worked. 11th play of the drive here. White knifing into the secondary, makes a tackle and dive for the end zone. Dogs pouring it on. There's the hat trick for White, Kirk.
Watch the block right here by the true freshman, Brock Bowers. Everybody buying into their assignment. Everybody doing their job. And when you have 11 guys on either side of the football, there's a progressive pylon cam to show you did not touch gets it across the goal line, but everybody doing their job in this sport, team sport, works out for you.
It was a great look. You saw the leg power and the balance. Let's see if he did, in fact, keep
it. Wasn't at the goal line. It was further back.
Right.
He kind of took a weird step coming off of a potential tackle by Catalan.
Look at here.
Right here. Catalan hits him. I thought he might go down. Glad he's okay from that. But oh no. No, the knee is up.
That is an incredible example of flexibility and leg strength to keep that knee from touching.
Flexibility. Because that's you're worried about the hip there.
Absolutely.
All that torque, all that power coming down on the leg.
You know, it's stretching that's never fun at a football practice. The players don't love doing. That's why you do it.
That's why you do it. Yeah.
Wow.
Great effort.
So 2 rushing touchdowns, assuming that stands for White. He also recovered that block punt in the end zone. So he had 2 touchdowns coming in. And adds 3 today. I'm not down. I was in. Look at that replay.
You're talking about a guy that had 2 ACL surgeries, too. Think about that. 17 and 18. He missed the entire 18 season. Think about the rehab he's put in, the work he's put into those legs.
After video review, the ruling is confirmed. Touchdown.
That's a great point. You know, 1 ACL is bad enough. When you hurt the same thing again, and you know what it takes to go through that rehab, it's a lot of inner strength that's required to get back at his position and still be elite.
Good for him, man. Great to see him rewarded for all that hard work he puts in. Known as a power back, but that time shows you that he's a great athlete, keeping his balance and eventually getting into the end zone.
First touchdown for the Georgia offense since midway in the first quarter. And the Dogs add to their lead. That was an impressive drive. Almost the entire length of the field.
That's what I love about Bennett.
Jumping and skipping and an easy day at the office. Alabama, Ole Miss warming up in Tuscaloosa. Then tonight, Florida Gators ranked number 10. A challenge in Kentucky. Gators about a touchdown favorite in that one. Georgia fans can just tune in tonight and scout because you just got the game, the cocktail party, end of the month. Auburn is up next for Georgia on the Plains.
Wow.
Speaking of Plains.
Geez, they're stacking up, aren't they? Look at that. A lot of traffic.
Concerned about that traffic jam?
Am I? No.
You just sound a little bit concerned.
No, just looking at that.
All-State bus, almost a home game for Curtis Wilson, Atlanta base. What's your All-State celebration moment today?
Well, usually we've got the primetime game. We got a noon kick. Right. We're going to go back to Friday night. A lot of talk about Maryland. This might be a time for them to try to pull off an upset against a top 5 team, and they turned it over a bunch. And the Iowa Hawkeye team playing really, really good football. Their defense has been sound all year. Spencer Petras, their quarterback, backs, receivers. Brian Ferentz calling the plays. They're a real
Penn State up next, right?
Penn State at Iowa City next week.
Here comes Malik Hornsby. Don't know if KJ Jefferson's day is done, but the speedy backup, the freshman from Texas, delivers a strike to Burks. Just nothing after the catch. This is a elite receiver that Georgia's defense has just shut down today.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a good job, I think, taking away every other aspect. And so when the running game's not working, the QB run's not working, you get into obvious play calling, obvious passing. It makes it tough on Kendall Briles. And of course, therefore, it's going to make it tough on Burks getting freed up.
Play action, and Hornsby wanted to take a deep shot, just puts the ball on the ground, and now running for his life. He's electric, but sometimes interesting stuff happens when he starts running around with the ball.
Yeah. I mean, he is very different style quarterback than Jefferson at 255 pounds. Hornsby has that quickness, but he's got to take care of the ball. Obviously, he's been watching his defense from the sideline all game, and now all of a sudden he gets out there, and I think his eyes and his brain are moving a little bit quicker than his hands and hold on to that football.
He had a few moments like that when Jefferson got hurt against the Aggies, and he had to come into the game. 3rd and long, and it's time to be swarmed. New quarterback, same result. Adam Anderson with his 4th sack of the season.
Well, he had nowhere to step up. He wanted to step up, but Quay Walker was coming in the middle. 7 back here. Watch him get freed up. Pushes the middle of the pocket, so 4 steps out, and that's what allows Anderson, who's maybe their best pass rusher, along with Nolan Smith, to be able to get that sack.
Just fast, powerful guy. He's run a 4.47, has Anderson, obvious next level star. That's the 7th 3-and-out, Kirk, and the 9 Arkansas possessions. They had the one good drive, which ended in a missed field goal. Dogs back to work. About 10.5 to play.
ESPN College Football is presented by Marathon, driven forward, and in part by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
Comprehensive performance by the Dogs, who ranked number 2 behind only Alabama. Kirk thinks number 3 Oregon's in for a challenge. That's this afternoon, coming up soon on ABC. Penn State has a primetime game at home against Indiana.
I think Oklahoma, after our trip last week to Norman, at Kansas State could be interesting. Cincinnati, Notre Dame playing right now. Notre Dame, we just look at Notre Dame, Cincinnati, Kentucky, and Florida. It should be an interesting game, too. I think Florida, Emory Jones playing a lot better.
AT&T 5G bringing you the top 10. Dogs had a 93-yard touchdown drive the last possession. That's their longest drive of the season. Better field position this time, and that's just McIntosh. The room of McIntosh, Milton, Cook, and White running behind this offensive line has been unstoppable today.
Yeah, they've done a great job, and I think it's going to continue to the end of this game. You've seen a lot of different backs in the backfield. Combination of James Cook, White, Milton has taken his chance, but really it's the way this line is sustained blocks. And I talked about the tight ends helping out. Brock Bowers there, Darnell Washington as well. We've seen John Fitzpatrick. So to me, it's not just about the backs. It's really more about the line of scrimmage and the push that this offensive line has gotten from the opening drive all the way to this point right now.
McIntosh up the middle. This will give people like Auburn, he's still plowing ahead, running really hard. All these guys are fresh and hungry to make an impact, and they have made one and then some today, Holly.
Well, Chris, there's a lot of good Georgia fans watching this game today, but I want to give a special shout out. You did a story years ago on Game Day about all the fans in New York City who go to certain bars to watch the game. So there's a huge fan base at the American Whiskey Bar in New York City today watching this game. The commencement speaker from April for the University of Georgia, our friend Maria Taylor, and she's with my favorite fan, my son, watching the game in American Whiskey Bar. So we've got to give them a shout out. A lot of dog fans there watching this.
Bring some
today.
Maria, right?
There we go. Yes.
All right.
Hello, Maria.
No, there's a sneaky good football scene in New York City, Kirk. You know that from you did Game Day there. Every school, Georgia included, kind of has their bar where the alums gather. They're displaced from the place where they grew up maybe, but it's their connection to home to watch their team play.
Yeah, I was fascinated by that. A lot of these offensive linemen now checking out of the game and allowing the backups to get a chance. But yeah, I was fascinated by that. You think of the Northeast, you think of NFL football, but all the alums that are in that town, I think it's so cool that they all go to the same bar every week to watch their team. They get the fight song going, they turn the game on, give them a little taste of home. It's really sweet.
NFL football is out of business in the city, by the way.
It's not doing so well.
Jets and Giants both winless. Milton. And now you've got a bunch of backup offensive linemen. As you said, they're still eager to make their imprint, and they're continuing to shove the Hogs backwards.
I really feel that we are seeing the cycle turn a little bit in college football. This era of spread it out, throw it every play, it's still there. But I just think we're seeing more teams recruit offensive linemen and want to win the line of scrimmage, want to be different. And so how do you defenses are building to defend the spread, get more speed on the field, less size. What do you do to counter punch? You build an offense that can establish the line of scrimmage and pound the football. I just feel like we're seeing more and more teams doing that.
Agent Edwards gets a touch. You wonder, Kirk, I mean, is this a massive turning point? Is this an anomaly because Georgia's offensive line played great and Arkansas didn't match up, or can they do this and really change the equation from what they did the first 4 games as they go on to take on Auburn, Kentucky, Florida, and so on?
Well, we'll see. It's more about between their ears than their physical abilities. They've got to flush this game, which is what Sam Pittman's going to try to do, is get this game behind them.
On the Georgia side of things.
And for Georgia, I think there's enough maturity and enough confidence and experience that they know what it takes to just. I think they expected to do this. If you talk to them privately, they're not surprised.
McIntosh takes a pitch on 4th down. He's going to make a cut, get the 1st down, and he shows his quickness, his elusiveness. Just these backs complement each other with their skill set. And we talked about what lies ahead. They've beaten Auburn 4 out of the last 5. Never easy in Jordan Hare. Kentucky comes in here, and of course they call it #Revenge Tour, and the revenge tour for them defensively especially begins against the Gators, who took them apart last year.
Yeah, and I think to your question and your point, I just don't think this team is a team that is going to get up or down. I think they're trained to look at every week, look at it the same, and I think, like I said, deep down, I think they felt they could do this today to Arkansas. They wanted to kind of challenge their manhood and see how Arkansas would respond. I think they'll put this game behind them pretty quickly. I want to see more how Arkansas responds with games that they have coming up. Ole Miss next week, which doesn't get any easier. Then they have Auburn, so they got to do a good job putting this one behind them.
Goodyear blimp overhead for every mile on the road. Goodyear is with you. Goodyear more driven. They were instructed to be here early, make noise from high noon on. They were not necessarily told you have to stay till the end.
Well, especially with a 34-point lead.
The party has begun. Short walk from here in downtown Athens, and they know how to do a party. They get a head start here with the noon kickoff. Edwards slammed down. It's a shame you talked about the bright lights and the big stage for Arkansas, that they didn't show what they could do as a football team. The gap isn't this big. I mean, Georgia's better, deeper, and they came in ready mentally for this game. Arkansas did not, but this is not, as you said, a fair reflection of what the Razorbacks are in 2021.
No, and now this is where the leadership, it's one thing for the coaches to try to get them to put it behind them, but the players are going to have to, the older players, they have a bunch of super seniors, going to have to put this one behind them and see what they can do. They can still have a great year. I mean, the way they played early in the year, if they can keep playing like that, this is an Arkansas team that can definitely bounce back from this embarrassment today.
There's Jackson Meeks, who makes the catch on the long throw from Bennett. It's interesting to see, JT Daniels is the starter when he's healthy. He just couldn't go today. With the week's rest as they go to Auburn, he may feel a lot better. It's the kind of injury, Kirk. I don't know if you had that, but one day it's really painful. You can't throw. The next it kind of feels okay. So we don't know. It's week to week, day to day with Daniels. But what do you do if he comes back and he can throw next week?
Well, I think, first of all, the injury has very similar to what Dak Prescott dealt with. If you watched Hard Knocks or we watched Dak throughout the month of August, they rested him a lot. I think it was a little bit more serious than what JT is dealing with, but I don't know, unless you give JT rest, I don't know how this goes away. It's a good one day, bad the next.
True. He needs rest. Not as serious as Prescott's. Not needed today, but Lesney hammers it through 37-0. Next UFC fight night is tonight in Vegas in ESPN Plus. Diego Santos takes on Johnny Walker. Light heavyweights, it's the main event. Prelims at 4 o'clock in ESPN Plus. The main event at 7 Eastern Time, 4 Pacific. Well, if this was a cage match, Dogs got him on the ground early, pounded away, and choked him out, I would say, late first quarter, maybe?
Late first quarter.
First quarter. 3:45 to go. Dogs going to pitch a second consecutive shutout in the SEC unless the Hogs can do something very late here. Good chance that the Gators fans were looking in on this one. Keeping an eye on their rival. Florida tonight, about 3 hours in Lexington, Kentucky against the Cats. And the scene will shift at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. LSU hosting the Auburn Tigers. We'll talk in a bit here about Alabama and Ole Miss getting set to get teed up in T-Town. Kiffin trying to become the first ex-Saban assistant to beat Nick. They are 0-23, but Ole Miss and Alabama has just been fun. You go back to, in different eras. It was fun when Eli pulled the upset way back when. We were there when Chad Kelly had the crazy Karen pass, and they won it.
Remember Bo Wallace ended up beating them. So You know, last year they had 647 yards of offense against Alabama.
48 points in a loss.
Yeah. And Ole Miss, I did them week 1 on Labor Day night. They're a much better team defensively than they were a year ago. Last year was all about their offense. I'm telling you, I think Alabama's tired of hearing about 647. I think they were going to simplify their defense this year against that scheme. Last year they did their normal Nick Saban just a lot. You can't do that against that fast of a tempo that Ole Miss plays with.
Look at the numbers for Matt Corral. These guys are considered, for what it's worth, not much in early October, the co-Heisman frontrunners, but it takes that kind of elite quarterback play. It takes a Heisman-type quarterback effort for a road team to win in Tuscaloosa. You think about Joe Burrow or Cam Newton, Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, that's what it's been. And it takes a memorable effort to be able to pull it off. I just think he's going to face a different style of defense today. They're going to get their yards. They're going to get points. And all this talk about Matt Corral, I'm glad you brought up Bryce Young.
One for a first down.
Because Bill O'Brien is a new offensive play caller and offensive coordinator for Sark, doing a pretty good job as well.
You know, one guy on the Arkansas sideline has had a tough day as a DB, but that's Hudson Clark. And he had a rocking chair moment his freshman year. He could tell his grandkids, I intercepted Matt Corral 3 times in a game in last year's win over Ole Miss. Yep. Corral's going to go out and do some special stuff in this sport. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And Clark got him 3 times in a game.
3 times. Yeah. And Arkansas was the first defense that gave him that, of course, 3 rushers, and they dropped 8. And it was like kryptonite to Matt Corral.
That's not Saban's world, but does he go to
I said that on game day. I think you'll see that. It is not his world, but a lot of people stole the Arkansas approach against Corral and used it, copied it and used it. And I think you will see that kind of response today where they're not worried about blitzing and playing man, all these exotics. I think they're just going to try to keep everything in front of them and make Ole Miss have to drive the football to score. I think Bama will win that game.
Arkansas trying to get a little drive here, trying to dent the scoreboard in the final minute here. Hornsby again in relief of Jefferson. Takes off. Accelerates a lot faster than KJ. Not as big or as strong. Rustled out by a mere speed. Clock ticking down. You know, Georgia wants to preserve that shutout. They haven't had back-to-back shutouts against SEC opponents since 1980. It was a pretty good year for the Dogs. Championship year. Shutout Vandy and Kentucky. Back-to-back shutouts last came in 06. The Blazers UAB and South Carolina. Hornsby to the end zone. Oh, diving attempt there by Jaquaylin Crawford. Took a long time to really get the ball downfield against the backups in this Georgia defense. Came close to a touchdown there. So the Hogs will have to regroup, as you said, a whole lot to play for a team that was just hoping to get to a bowl game. Pittman said if we can get to 6 wins and just get to a bowl game, that's really going to help recruiting. Expectations upped after the 4-0 start, but a sobering afternoon in Athens. Hornsby gets the block, gets knocked down in the field of play.
I think the frustrating thing, you keep looking at Sam Pittman's face, and he knew what he was getting into today against Kirby. I mean, he used to coach here in Athens. The frustrating thing for him are the mistakes. You know, and it started in the opening series. So many miscues. It's one thing for Georgia to beat you, but you don't need to help them. And I think that's what they're going to learn from in the film work that they do on Monday.
Last play of the game, Meeks makes the catch, and that's it. I agree. He knew how good Georgia was, but Pittman had to be deeply disappointed about how his team got rattled early and made it pretty easy for Georgia.
He's telling him, thank you for everything, and you got a really, really, really good football team.
Now, he owes a lot to Kirby Smart. He said he learned a lot about being a head coach from his time here in Athens. For Kirby, it was a speed bump. And they just flattened Arkansas, and they keep rolling now. Auburn is up next. Let's hear from Kirby Smart with Holly.
Well, Coach Smart, this was the biggest test you've had perhaps so far. Number 8 team coming in here playing well. What did your team do to dominate?
Patience. Remember we talked about patience? So patience gives you the ability to recover from anything. And this is a good football team we beat. Okay, they got a really good football team. Sam's done a tremendous job, but so do we. And I'm so proud for the University of Georgia. And our fans today, Holly, they were elite. Because at 12 o'clock, they affected the game. And that's special.
You're right. False start penalties on the very opening series. That was your fans. Great point, Coach. You got the ball moving on the running game. You were dominant up front. How can you build on that moving forward?
Well, confidence. It comes through your work habits. You know, humility is always a week away. We know that. Kids played really hard today, and I'm proud of them.
SEC shutouts are hard to come by. How did your defense do it?
Well, defensive staff does a great job. These kids take so much pride in their performance, and the offense helped them do that with the running game, shrinking the game a little bit.
Patience paid off today. Top 10 win. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Holly. Appreciate it.
Way to go, Dogs.
Kirby has a high standard, but there won't be a whole lot they can find fault with this performance. It was comprehensive. The defense did its thing. Another shutout. Special teams completely dominant. The offensive line was what they hoped to have at the beginning of the season.
I think they privately thought there's a lot of talk right now about Sam Pittman's team, and they deserve it. But we're going to see how physical they are at the line of scrimmage. You know, offensively, we want to be able to control things and run our backs, no matter who the quarterback is. Today it was Stetson Bennett. And then on defense, we want to really challenge this quarterback. We want him to feel our wrath. And it's exactly what they did on both sides of the ball. So this is a mission accomplished. Check the box, move on to the next one. This team has huge goals this season. It wasn't just beating Arkansas. They'll put this one behind them and move on.
You got the goals that are as big as you can have in this
big as you can have.
One of the guys bringing the wrath, as you said, on defense was Nakobe Dean, and he's with Holly now.
That's right. Nakobe Dean, you were everywhere today. How are you personally able to dominate and affect this team like you are right now in the middle of that defense?
It just comes with everything the coaches. You know, the coaches had a great plan for us, you know, for the defense to work hard. You know, we had a strong week of practice, so everything, all our preparation and everything just, you know, played out.
You're a 4.0 student in mechanical engineering. How does that help you diagnose and destroy when you're out there?
You know, it definitely helps me with the focus part of everything. You know, watching the film, getting the plays, getting everybody lined up, knowing what everybody do. I feel like it helps me in a big way. Yeah.
A shutout against a good Arkansas team. How did it fuel your defense over there on the sideline to keep it going throughout this game?
Hey, yeah, it fueled us heavily. You know, we just had, we talked about just having trust in ourselves, having road commitment, and just patience. And we, that was the 3 things that we honed in on this week, and I feel like we did a good job of that.
Coach Smart talked about that patience, and it really paid off. But tell me about what you see from this offense right now. I feel like they're adopting some of your personality. That offensive line was punishing. You saw them dragging piles of guys. They couldn't bring anybody down.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said before, you know, outside the linebackers, I love my O-line and D-line. You know, them the guys up front, they make the game go.
Thank you so much, Nakobe.
Thank you.
Well, Kirby Smart had said the verdict was still out on this defense, hadn't really faced an elite offense. I don't know what he needs to see before we can judge them as being pretty darn good on that side of the ball.
Being around this sport as long as we all have been, great teams, their best players are their hardest workers. They love to go to practice. They look forward to practice. That's what Georgia has. Their alphas are their hardest workers. They police this team and set a standard. You're lucky to have it. You don't coach that. You're either lucky to have it or you're not. Georgia has that.
You're right. Many talented teams have fallen by the wayside because they don't have that ingredient. But the elite teams, including a few that Kirby Smart worked with under Nick Saban, definitely have that, and he's got that in Georgia. And they made a strong statement from the opening bell here. 37-0 over a top 10 opponent. Auburn up next, Kentucky, and then the cocktail party. So challenges ahead, but this hardest month of the season for Georgia is off to a great start. Thanks to our entire crew. Game produced by Bill Bunnell, directed by Derek Mobley. Thanks to Darren Brown, Mark Amento, Mike Black. Up in the booth here. And for Bill, for Kurt, for Holly, I'm Chris Fowler saying goodbye from Athens. Now back to Matt Berry in the studio.
ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the Southeastern Conference.